Today we're building an easy bone meal farm using kelp. Today we're going to build a cool kelp bone meal farm. This is a nice easy one with minimal materials. It's great as a starter farm and you can make it as low or as high as you want. If you want this farm to be fully automatic, you can also just add a simple clock to the piston. Let's get into the build. Items we need for this farm are 2 hoppers, a piston, some glass, depending on how high you want it, double chest, a composter, 2 buckets of water, some kelp, a cherry button or a button, and 2 signs. How it works. You can see from the one I built over here, it just has a piston down the bottom with a button on it, and some kelp and a water stream that goes up, or just a water stream. Then the kelp flows around through the hopper and into the chest as bone meal, and then you just press the button. You don't destroy the button, you probably press it. Press, and then it goes up and across and gets composted and into the chest. Let's get into the build. First we'll start with a water source with 2 buckets on these sides. Then we have as much water as we need. And we'll start by placing a piston down. And because kelp needs water to grow in, we'll need to dig a hole and put water in it. And then put some kelp in. You don't have to do the kelp yet, but you can if you like. And then we want to copy that design over there, and we'll just layer up the glass. So we'll go all the way up the side, depending on how high you want it. You can make this pretty much as high as you want. If you're starting off, just make a small one. If you want, you can go all the way up, and the kelp should keep going all the way to the top of the water stream. And then put a glass block all the way up the top, and then you have to do one for the back with a piston as well. So just a glass all the way up on top of the piston, and just layer all the way up to the top. All the way to the top. And just leave 1 block down on the edge for the water to flow over. Now back down the bottom we'll put a double chest, and then on top of that we need to put a hopper facing into the chest, and on top of that a composter. Then on top of the composter another hopper. And now we need to cover up the sides above the hopper. And just bring them all the way up to the top where the glass is. And make sure you don't fill in any holes there, otherwise the kelp will not fall down into the composter. There, now we've got all that covered. We just need to add some water. So we'll actually just put these glass up here. And if you put a water source just, need to add that, and a water source just below this block here. And then that will flow all the way down. But we will need to fill that with kelp to make it all water source blocks. So we put water here, it goes all the way down. And then we have to fill this with kelp, otherwise it won't be source blocks. So putting kelp here makes all of the water into sauce. Well, actually, makes it water, but actual water source blocks, so the kelp will flow up. Now add another water here, flowing this way. If you add it right at the back, it'll flow over and push the kelp as it comes up the water stream, because kelp floats. Now we add a sign here to block the water, otherwise it'll just stay kind of and get stuck in this top block. So now the kelp will flow up and across and down. You can see you just test a couple of kelp there and it hits the sign and falls down. And now we just cover off the top. If your kelp gets stuck at the top, you can always cover it in a bit more glass. But I found this works pretty well. And that's it. Now we can test. We just need to add a button, or you could put a timer here if you wanted to have it automatic. For testing, we will just add a button and press. And you can see all the kelp goes up the water stream and across into the hopper and gets composted. And it kind of looks cool as well. Didn't get enough kelp for Bonemeal yet, but we will as it runs. And that is the kelp Bonemeal farm build. Hope this video helped you out, and thanks for watching. See you in the next video.